So here's the white paper, and you can see the difference. So this is the natural cougar, and you won't be able to, usually when I'm doing this presentation in person, I'll have you feel it, but this is 20 pound. This is regular white paper that you can get at Staples. This is a little bit thicker, and it's so much nicer to use. So I would recommend the 70 pound for sure. You could do 60 pound, but I always do 70. You can see the difference in size. So that's 8.5 by 11 onto the 9 by 12. And then you can add the 10 by 13. You can see the differences. So 9 by 12, then 10 by 13. And then this is the cover paper that I use. It's kind of hard to show you exactly, but it's great. I enjoy it. So I enjoy using it, that is. Here's an example of a coil binding job that I did for this one piece. That's a Bruno Mars for. So you can see that I used the very thick cover page at the top and back, and then had the music with our regular natural paper. And this is an example of the coil. So when you buy a coil, if you ever buy if you ever buy a machine to coil, you get a crimper. So it's basically so that if it stops the paper from spiraling out. So you can use this and you can just take the end of it and then you crimp it here and it remains in place, which is really nifty. And there you go. Here are examples of some of the coils I was mentioning. Here are some of the 12 inches. And then you can see the I believe I got, this is, so you can see, oh goodness me. So you can see the different sizes. Maybe I'll show you a bigger size here and be more obvious. So this one on the left is 6, that's 8. This would have been 12 millimeters. So you can see the larger it is, the more paper you can put in. To show the example of a 12 inch, so I'll bring that back, and then a 36, you can see, I will bring it over. It's very long and is great for the 11 by 17 scores. So those are that. I'll get that out of the way. So here's an example of a part. I have removed the title and the movement names and everything, so you can just see that. So this is the 18 by 12 paper that I mentioned that we can print on our printer. And you can see I've created it into a 9 by 12 booklet where we staple here. I didn't bring it, but I use like a saddle stapler, which makes it easy. You can search it up, a saddle staple. But that's what I usually use. So what I'm going to show you in this tutorial is, well, before I do, I'll show you the page discrepancy because you might have noticed this. You can see that, I'll bring this up a little bit. There's no time to change. If you turn the page, that's great. And then you come to the end of that page. Oh gosh, I'm sorry. It's very hard to, there's no time to turn as well. So what I did, because this came to me as a PDF directly from exported from like a notation software, I'm able to use Adobe Pro and cut and paste. So I added a cover page to start off, and I corrected this page turn that we noticed at the beginning. This is the booklet, basically the document that the part that I got from the composer directly. Here's the one that I corrected. So we've corrected it. You'll also notice that there are no indication of the piece or the instrument. So I would also add that. Then when you come over here, you notice that, I'll bring it, the example of where, so this is the page I was working with, and I cut and paste this part here. You see it no longer, and I brought it over to the next page and started it because there's just no possible, like there's no way to get it to work with page turns. And then the rest, I believe, worked well. There is another method. If we have time, I can show you what I would do if I didn't have the ability to work with Adobe Pro, but I will show you what I do. So if, let's say the library, I wasn't able to make a 9x12 booklet with 18x12 paper in mind. I would print this music up here, and you can see that we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pages. So I would deem that worthy of taping, not too many. And I will get my material here. Just 1 second. So I've got my tape. This is the medical tape I was mentioning. This is the 0.5 inch. You can also get, I'll show you, you can also get 1 inch. I typically use the 0.5 mostly. And we're going to replicate basically a booklet-esque, just because, basically, yeah, I'm replicating this booklet just by taping it. So the first thing you want to do, you're always taking the first page and the last page, and you're going to combine it with tape. So I'm going to take this page and keep it as it is, take the last page and flip it. This is, of course, blank, but if there was music, you would put the music down. And I'm going to take away the rest of that, rest of the part. I didn't add this, unfortunately, to the link to the document with all the links, but this is basically, you can get this at Staples. It's a good box cutter. Just be careful. I take it completely out, and I use this when I'm dealing with tape. So got my 0.5 tape, and we'll grab it. This is a new roll. All right, so you have the first and last page. You're going to take right to the top. You might not see it as clearly with the lighting and everything, but I've put it right at the top. There's different methods. I do just a little bit, so it's easier for me to align this. I will, depending on basically how many pages you have in your part, you want to make sure you have enough room to fit everything in. So I'm going to give a lot of space. So I'm not going to put it flush to the other page. I'm going to add some space here, and I'll give you an example. Like I'll bring it up so you can see a little bit better. So this isn't my best job, but this will be just good enough to show. So voila, we've basically combined the last and the first page. So you can see that there is quite a bit of space in between with the tape here. So once you're done with the first and last page, you set this aside. So I'm just going to put it up there for now, or I'm going to put it over here. Then you bring back the stack and you do the same thing. You take the first page, you don't do anything, you put it to the right, you take the last page, then you flip it. Then you put aside the other part, the other paper, and then you do the same thing, but the only thing different is you make the space between the two pages a little bit less so that it fits well into the first set that we made. So I'm going to do that. And I didn't mention it, but I use this box cutter, and I basically hold it at the end of the page where the tape is, and I don't do anything with the blade, so it's a little safer, and I just kind of tilt the tape. So I kind of do like a little this, and I just leave this on, so it's a little bit safer. So we're done with this. And you'll notice that the space between is a little bit less than before. I set this aside and I put it on top of the other page. And I'll show you that. So this was our first one with much more space. We put this one here. Good. And then we'll set this aside because we have one more. So when you get to your last 2 pages, and I forgot to mention, you always want to make sure that it's an even number of pages that you are working with when you're making a booklet like this. If you have an odd number, it's not, you always are dealing with 2 pages at a time. So this is the last, like I said. Because it's the last, you don't set this aside and flip it. You just take page and you flip it like just a regular page, as if you're reading the music, and you tape from the inside. So the other ways we've been doing is we're taping on the outside. This way we're taping in the inside so that it's a little bit more secure. So I'm just going to do that. It's top of the page. This is the closest, the pages are the closest you can do here. Okay, and I will try to bring this a little bit over so that you can see how I do this here. So I place it here where the outline of the page is, and I just go to the side. So then, because I don't have a staple, I will just show you. So we bring everything back. So we've stacked the 2 already, and you want to always have the inside tape as your last. And then, oh, one sec. The tape is quite sticky, but here we go. We've made our booklet. Ideally, and I would recommend getting a stapler and then being able to staple the inside, just like the one with the booklet, where it has the staples here and here. So that's an example of how I do taping. Sometimes I'm doing 70 parts. So you can imagine this would take time, especially if there's more than 6 pages that we just dealt with. So I would resort to coil binding.